Welcome to Sib Spot. Today's featured Reddit stories are from MaliciousCompliance. Story 1 today is by UnluckyPin9555. They said all guests must sign in, so I made the CEO wait in the lobby until security approved him. We got a new visitor policy last week. The email was bolded, underlined, and said, all guests must sign in and wait for security clearance before entering. No exceptions. I work front desk. Normally executives just walk through. But hey, the email said what it said. So when the CEO came in early for a board meeting, smiled, and started heading for the elevator, I handed him a clipboard and said, "Sorry, sir, I'll need you to sign in and wait while I call it in." He looked confused, maybe a little amused, but sat down. Security took their time, 10 full minutes. The next morning, we got a new email. Use discretion for executive-level visitors. Go figure. Honestly, it doesn't sound like this guy was mad that you were doing your job. Something must have happened recently to make them think they needed this extra level of security, to where it was in all caps and bold letters and underlined, no exceptions. So I think he was actually proud that you were doing that. Still, it's kind of funny. They should have a list of people that can go in without security clearance, but I guess it depends on the building you work in, too. You never know. Somebody could look like somebody else. Down in the comments was another short story shared by Stage Party. I work in the NHS in the UK, and obviously we have to take down certain details to make sure we are speaking to the right person on the phone before giving out information. I got a call from someone asking for information on their friend's appointment, and they didn't have any details. I said I can't give you that information. Do you know who I am? I'm your boss. It was only the chief executive. Told her, sorry, I still can't give out that information. She hung up. 5 minutes later, I get a call from my upper manager. Did you tell the chief executive you weren't going to give her information? Yup, she didn't have the required information. Yeah, we thought so. She just called to complain about you. Haha, we told her the same thing. Good job. Our next story is by Support Eza. No drinks at your desk. Fine, but don't expect me to answer the phones. Used to work reception at a small insurance office in the UK. Policy was no food or drink at the front desk. Fair enough. But one summer we had a heat wave and no air conditioning. I brought a water bottle and discreetly kept it behind the monitor. One day the manager spots it and tells me absolutely no drinks at the front desk. Doesn't matter if it's hot, rules are rules. I asked, even water? And she said, yes. So the next day, I don't bring any. By 2 p.m., I'm dizzy and dehydrated. I walk away from the desk and sit in the break room to drink water. Manager comes in and asks why I'm not at the desk. I remind her that she said no drinks at the desk. I needed water, so I had to leave. Phones started ringing off the hook and clients are standing around waiting. I was told to use common sense after that, and my water bottle stayed. Okay, I get it. It's a computer station, you're worried about somebody spilling water or food on their keyboard and damaging the property or something, but I'm sure that sort of stuff is insured and or replaceable, and you should be more worried about the health of your employees. My question here is, why do you have a front desk with maybe a computer or something at it and there's no air conditioning? Computers put out a lot of heat, and they can also overheat if you don't have air conditioning for them. This manager should be really happy that this person's trying to stay hydrated. The health of your employees should be way more important than the condition of technology or the optics of what somebody comes in and sees. Our next story today is by Jessica Sergey. Use all your paid time off before December 31st or lose it? All right. Don't mind if I do, even if the project burns. This happened a couple years ago at my old job. A pretty demanding corporate gig where we were always juggling tight deadlines, constant emails, and way too many meetings that could have been Slack messages. Around early November, HR sent out one of those all-staff emails with a bright red banner and urgent tone. It read something like, Reminder, all unused paid time off must be taken before December 31st. We will not be allowing rollovers this year. Please schedule your remaining days immediately or risk losing them. No exceptions. No flexibility. No consideration for project timelines. Now, I wasn't one to take a ton of time off during the year, mostly because every time I tried, something urgent would come up and I'd get guilted into postponing. So by November, I had 10 full days of paid time off just sitting there. And according to HR's big red warning, I had about 6 weeks to use them. Naturally, I did what any burnt-out, underappreciated employee would do. I opened the calendar and booked myself off from December 18th to December 31st. 2 full weeks, right before the new year, smack in the middle of the most chaotic time in our project cycle. A week later, my manager, let's call him Rob, came in a mild panic. "Rob, hey, I saw your PTO request. I was hoping we could shift that a little. December's going to be a critical time for project name, and we really need all hands on deck." Me: "Yeah, I get that, but HR sent that PTO deadline. If I don't use those days, I lose them, and I've already worked through enough vacations this year." He looked uncomfortable, but couldn't argue with the logic. I even forwarded him the HR email with the subject line, "Using my days, as required." He escalated it to HR, of course. HR's reply: "We understand it may be inconvenient, but our PTO policy is final. Managers are responsible for planning around employee availability." That reply felt like Christmas came early. So I prepped my teen as best I could, left detailed notes, and on December 18th, I logged out, stress-free. While they were scrambling to hit deadlines, dealing with last-minute client requests, and working late, I was sipping hot chocolate, watching Netflix, and actually enjoying my holiday season for once. When I came back in January, the project had been delivered barely. The team was exhausted, mistakes had been made, and the post-mortem meeting was basically 45 minutes of finger-pointing. But no one dared say a word to me. After all, I was just following HR's rules. Moral of the story: if a company insists you follow policy to the letter, don't feel bad when you do, even if it means watching the ship catch fire from your cozy vacation cabin. They made the policy, you followed the rules. That sucks for them, though. It must be nice to be somebody who is irreplaceable. A high-valued employee here, where the boss comes in and he's like, I really need you for these things, and you get to go anyway because company policy said you got to use your time. They can't fire you, they can't punish you because you're just so good at what you do. That sort of thing must feel really good. Our last story today is by Biker Jedi. If your pay raise isn't enough, quit. Okay then. I first wrote this 4 years ago for this sub when a lot of you enjoyed it. I've rewritten it and updated and expanded it and corrected some mistakes. Enjoy. This took place around December 1992 to January 1993. I got a job as a security guard after leaving the army because I wasn't qualified to do much else and I hadn't decided if I was going to college yet or not. The company refused to pay very much, so they had a high turnover. Because of the turnover, they had small raises built in at 90 days, 6 months, and a year as an incentive to stay on. I needed a job, and until I had my crap together, this would do. So I showed up and worked. My 1-year anniversary rolls around and I don't see my 50 cents an hour raise in my paycheck, but something more like 35 cents. So I called the boss. My 3- and 6-month raises had been delivered with no issues, so I was surprised my 1-year anniversary hadn't shown up. Supposedly, they wanted to give all employees a raise, so they did. And yes, I got a small raise along with the other guards, a few hundred of us. It was something like 35 cents an hour for each of us. Okay, fine, but what about my promised 50 cents an hour? As far as I was concerned, this 35 cents an hour was something you initiated after promising me more, so this is bonus. When I called the manager, I was told I wasn't going to get a raise for my 1-year raise, because you just got a raise. No one gets 2 raises at once. If your pay isn't enough, quit. In other words, they were trying to claim the 35 cent an hour raise for every employee somehow was overriding the fact that I was owed an additional 50 cent an hour longevity raise. I'm sure there were others caught up like that. Fine. They want to give me 35 cents an hour of a raise and tell me that is equal to the 85 cents an hour? I'll find something better. I spent the next week calling in sick and showing up late while job hunting. Called the office at the end of my last day and told them I was done and they could find someone else, giving them no notice at all. Panic mode ensued. Everyone else was at 40 hours for the week and they hated paying overtime. One of the salaried managers had to cover for me. They told me to quit, so I did. I'm a teacher now, near retirement. My raises are still crap, but at least I can barely live off it, and I have a crappy union for now, which is more than I had then. A few more cents an hour and they could have kept me as a wage slave. Crazy that I would even consider it now, looking back on it. At least I enjoy my job today, as crazy as the kids are. Don't I know it from my experience being a teaching assistant for many, many years. These people promised you a 50-cent raise at the 1-year mark, and then they basically tried to screw over a bunch of people and not give them that 50-cent raise and say, well, we gave everyone a 35-cent raise. That cost us a lot of money, so you guys don't get your longevity one. That's so stupid. If anything, for the people who were due to get a 50-cent raise, they should have given them the 50-cent raise and everybody else got 35 cents. It would have cost them more in the long run, but they wouldn't have lost this person. And I can guarantee you some other people were disgruntled and probably left as well. They definitely chose their words improperly when dealing with him or her. Our stories for today have come to a close. If you enjoy this kind of content, please click like or subscribe, or you can leave a comment down below. Each of these things helps my channel reach more people in the YouTube algorithm. Until we meet again, have an unbelievable day.